Rico Verhoeven shocks the world versus Alexander Usyk. I've been seeing a lot of videos, people being silly about the fight. People surprised Rico did well, and thinking, Usyk maybe took Rico lightly, or he's lost a step or something of that nature. Here's the reality. Rico did well against Usyk for the same reason Ngannou did well against Fury. I remember when Ngannou got a close fight. Fury won by decision, split decision. It was a very close contest versus Ngannou. And people were saying, Fury didn't take him seriously, even though Fury had said before the fight that he took the fight serious, training camp and all. Even after the fight, Fury reiterated he took the fight seriously. People just, they want to find a reason to sort of excuse the results. Ngannou did well versus Fury because Fury didn't have a game plan against Ngannou because there was no footage, right? Ngannou he hadn't boxed before. I think he probably had like one or so boxing matches, but a long time ago. So there wasn't any recent footage on Ngannou boxing, right? So there was nothing for them to game plan on. Whereas Ngannou had a lot of footage on Tyson Fury to game plan on. People forget game planning is an important part of boxing, vital, not just boxing, sports in general. It matters, right? It's a cerebral sport. It matters hugely, right? You need to be able to game plan against your opponent. Fury could not game plan against Ngannou. He had no idea what Ngannou was going to bring, how he was going to fight, what shape he was going to take, nothing, right? So you can't just do that on the night. Now, another thing is Ngannou, just like Rico, was at the top of his sport, right? We're talking about the top, 1%, 0.1% athlete. That's Ngannou, that's Rico, right? They are top athletes. Powerful, durable guys, smart, right? They have a fight IQ, might not be boxing IQ, but fight IQ. They are combat sport athletes, so they have a fight IQ high. The fact they got to the top of their respective sports tells you that they have high fight IQ, right? So that was enough. The combination of their durability, their toughness, their athleticism, high general fight IQ, fighting instinct, that was, and also just lack of footage on them was enough to give them an advantage in their respective fights. Okay, so Ngannou did very well against Fury. Now, the second fight Ngannou had against AJ, different story. Why? Because there was now footage. There was 10 rounds. I think his fight against Fury was 10 rounds of footage, whereas there was none before. And then AJ and his team, they game planned, and they got him out of there, right? Because there was footage. I predict same thing for Rico as well. Let's not get carried away and say, oh, Rico, he's gonna, he's now a top 10 boxer. No, right? That element of surprise is gone. His next fight, most likely, even if he fights Usyk, they're gonna have footage. His tendencies, his bad habits, they're gonna pick it out. It's hard to pick out these things in real time during the fight, especially these guys. They have training camps weeks long, right? Sometimes months, right? So in their training camp, they are training. In this case, right, they just have to guess, based on, for in Rico's case, how he fights in kickboxing. Okay, yeah, we think this is how he's probably gonna fight. They have to get sparring partners to try and mimic him, So if that is off and you've spent a whole camp like programming yourself, because that's what part of training camp is, like you're conditioning yourself to fight that style and that individual and all that. So if you've conditioned yourself to fight what you thought how Rico was gonna fight, and then he turns up on the night and he fights completely different. It's almost impossible to adjust on the night, almost impossible. So I'm not surprised Usyk couldn't adjust because he didn't expect that. I didn't expect that. I've watched Rico's kickboxing fight. He stands in kickboxing, right? Forget that even he's not like crouched down like that with the whole, erratic movement. It was a surprising style. So that's why Usyk was thrown off, and he couldn't adjust. Same way Fury couldn't adjust. And for those people who still make the excuse, Fury didn't take Ngannou serious, though he was overweight. Fury weighed 277.7 pounds versus Ngannou, okay? Against Usyk, the second time, Fury weighed 281 pounds, right? So he weighed heavier, right, versus Usyk the second time than he weighed against Ngannou. So did he not take the second Usyk fight serious? So the whole Fury didn't take, no. He took him serious. It's just that they couldn't game plan for Ngannou, right? And Ngannou was a strong top athlete with high durability. So, that's what you get, right? And again, the thing with crossovers, what you usually get is you get the top guys of these other combat sports. They're cream of the crop. They're numero uno guys. Those already are top guys, top durable athletes. So those are the guys you're bringing over. So it's not just, they're just a novice, kind of thing. It's not just some guy from the street. These are top athletes with fight experience, fight punching experience, powerful guys, right? They've been under pressure, fought under the big lights, maybe not in a boxing ring, but in their respective sports. So these are top athletes we're talking about. You're bringing them over, and they are game planning for these boxers because they have footage on these boxers, right? They're training, they have training camps with boxing trainers, and they are game planning. And their opponents are blind to them because they have no clue how they're going to fight. So that's asymmetry. The fact that your opponent knows about you and you don't know about them, that's a huge advantage, right? And these guys, in terms of athleticism, they are on par, right? Rico I would say is on par with Usyk in terms of athleticism, right? Rico, and if you watch his kickboxing fight, very durable, endurance off the charts. He's a prime athlete. So, and he's bigger than Usyk. Bigger. Ngannou was bigger than, well, maybe not big, not heavier, but in terms of strength, stronger than Fury, right? So, and they game planned with that. They outworked them. So yeah, don't get it twisted. These guys did well. Ngannou and Rico did well in their first outing because of that element of surprise. Second time around, it's going to be different because the boxers would have sourced them as, oh yeah, we have footage on this guy. So it will be a different kind of affair. Regarding the stoppage, I felt it was early. In terms of like robbery, some people say, oh, the ref was paid off or whatever. He was trying to save the face of boxing. I don't know about that because, like, okay, for instance, Wardley Parker, that stoppage was worse than this one. That was worse. One, Parker had not been knocked down in that fight, if I remember correctly. He had not been knocked down yet. And even the sort of the barrage of punches Wardley was throwing before the fight was stopped, most of them didn't land. Maybe one landed and the rest didn't. So that was a worse stoppage. Now, compared to this one, Rico had just been dropped, right? He dropped badly. He fell. He would have fallen face first into the canvas. It's the ropes that kept him up, right? and he spat out his mouthpiece. The ref gave him a lot of time. He had a lot of time to go to his corner to put back his mouthpiece. He could have just picked it up and just put it in his mouth immediately, right? The ref gave him time. So this ref that people are claiming, he got paid or he put a bet, that same ref gave Rico an opportunity to recover by, let's say, oh, let's go to your corner, and his corner, they were fumbling with the mouthpiece. So he bought Rico time, so I don't think it's that black and white. But then again, after that, resumed the fight, Usyk went on and, punched, and Rico his body language wasn't positive, and the ref stepped in. Now, given the context, it was the end of the 11th, and 12th round was coming up. Given that context, yes, I'll say maybe let the fight go on. But again, I don't know if refs are. I don't know if they operate based on that. I don't know if it's allowed. Should they be thinking like that? Oh, okay, well, this is the first round, so no, or this is the second round. At the end of the day, they're there to protect the fighter. So if they feel at any moment, whether it's the last second of the last round, and they feel the fighter cannot defend themselves, I think it's their duty to step in. So I don't know. I would have liked it to go on. I feel like it robbed Rico of that opportunity to try and go to a decision, and also Usyk, it robbed him of the opportunity to really put a stamp, because now you have controversy around it. So I would have liked a cleaner ending. But again, it's the Wardley Parker stoppage was worse than this one, right? Worse than this one. Parker had not been dropped in the fight. It was a championship fight as well. And Parker was winning that fight on the scorecards. And the barrage, Wardley was not really connecting, and the ref stopped that fight. So that was worse than this one, So yeah, it's not that huge a robbery. Like, no, yeah. It was an early stoppage, I agree, but yeah, there've been worse stoppages. But yeah, what do you guys think?